My name is Elleesa. So today we are going to create a Cricut Joy Card Mat project in Design Space, starting from a blank canvas. And today's card is for the Cricut Joy branded card pack size, which is an Imperial A2 card size. If you are after other sizes, including metric A6 cards, check out my playlist below in the description box. So before we get started, if it is the first time you're watching me, make sure it is not the last. Go ahead and click that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to jump over to Design Space and I'm going to create a new project. And this project is for the Cricut Joy branded card pack, which is an Imperial A2 size. So I'm going to go to my settings and I am going to set my units to Imperial. I like to work in Imperial if the product is made in Imperial, and metric if the product is made in metric. And I do have metric card playlists. Just check out the description box below. Okay, so from here, we are going to create our insert first, which you may or may not need to do depending on whether you are using the Cricut branded card or whether you're making your own Cricut branded card. So if you want to create your own insert, you want to go to Square. So you go shapes and then square, and then you're going to go to unlock this shape, and then we're going to create an insert being 4 inches by 5.25 inches. And I'm going to change the on-screen color to purple just for aesthetics. So if you are using a Cricut Joy branded card pack, you can then go ahead and hide this insert cut if you don't need it. Now I'm using the free version of Cricut Design Space, and one thing to keep in mind with Cricut Design Space is that if some things that are free today may not be free for you to press make it on tomorrow. So just keep that in mind. Before we get started, I'm just going to show you a little bit on the text button here. Again, I don't have Cricut access, so I'm working in the free version of Design Space. So when you use the font, the first thing it does is it drops down sometimes. So if it does do that, sometimes you might want to move your whole design just a little bit lower so it's easier to work with the text. Now the next thing is the font choices. So the first thing it always does at the moment is mine always comes in and says only kerned fonts. But for what we're working with, that's not necessarily the most relevant thing to us. So I'm going to go to Cricut. If you've downloaded something from a font site or you want to use something that's on your computer, System is the box that you're looking for. Cricut is the ones that are the Cricut fonts. And I'm going to search for Cricut. And that usually brings up a collection of fonts that don't have a price tag attached and a few that do. So this is the easiest way for me to find some of my free fonts. Now, especially if I'm looking for a writing font, I can go here and look for writing. I can also go for a stencil type font. Now, there's usually 1 or 2 stencil fonts available at a time that are free. At the moment, it's this Signet stencil, which is one of my favorites as well. Now, if you did select a writing font, when you go to the style button here, that's when you can change it to a writing. And this one here has even got writing italic as well. They're your 2 choices. So when I'm doing images, we're going to go to image. And you'll see there's some prices on some of these items. I want to filter this out, so I am going to go to free. You can also click purchased and upload it so that when you press make it, it will just press say continue and not check out. Because I want to share this design with you on my Design Space profile, I'm just going to stick with free for now. And I'm going to go ahead and search. So now I'm going to scroll down. There's some corners up the top if you want to design from scratch, but I'm going to use one of the pre-designed cards and customize it. So I'm going to stick with this elephant card and I'm going to add it to canvas. And then I'm going to resize my elephant by unlocking it and making it the exact size of the insert, which is 4 inches by 5.25 inches. Yeah, that doesn't quite look right. What have I done wrong yet? 4 inches by 5.25 inches. That looks a lot better. Now I'm going to add some text. Now, I'm going to make this for a 21st card, but this is great because you can add someone's name, you could add any numbers, but we've got to go through and find a stencil font. And right down the bottom, there's a free stencil font called Singer Stencil. Just remember, anything in Design Space, if it's free today, it might not be free for you to press make it tomorrow. So we've got happy, and this is where I'm going to add the number, and I'm going to put 21st, but it's up to you. You could put first. And now we're going to select all and attach. I'm just going to change it to black for aesthetics, and then I'm going to press make it. This is on the assumption that I have a pre-cut insert, or unhide the insert cut, and don't forget to follow the additional prompts. So from here, we're going to load all of our materials for this project, and we've got the one mat and it's on a card mat. So we're going to press done. Now from here, it's going to ask us to select the material size, and we are going to use the Cricut Joy branded cards, so we're going to select the correct size, and you'll see we can't actually move our image around anymore, which is exactly perfect. If it doesn't allow you to select the smaller size, go back and just type over those dimensions again and see how you go. If not, just go with the bigger one and just make sure it's in the top left hand corner. Now we're going to press continue. Before I press continue, you want to make sure that your machine is turned on. You plug it in, make sure it makes all the correct noises and that light is flashing. I'm also going to find my mats. I've got one lovely card mat here. Now the first mat it was saying was the card. So we're going to take off our dust cover. We're going to pop our card. Now my other trick here is you've got to make sure that your card lines up with that blue line. So when you're ready, you want to avoid as many finger oils as you can on this card mat too. I like to use my scraping tool and give it a good stick to that card mat without touching it. My first card mat got lost to finger oils and scraping and all sorts of rubbish. And now it's asking me to connect to my machine. Now today I'm using my Cricut Joy branded pack, so we're going to go to insert card. With my Cricut branded products, I find the pressure of default works perfectly. You might need to play around and practice a little bit to work out whether you need more or less or default pressure. It just depends on your machine and your card and how sharp your blade is. If you did pick pens, this is where it will give you the list of what you need to. So let's go. Now the next two steps are very important. They ask you to unload, then it'll ask to reconnect to your machine and press finish. Now if you don't complete that process, sometimes your Joy can disconnect from your Bluetooth incorrectly and then have trouble reconnecting. So it's very important that we follow these steps. After weeding, pop the insert card into the slots, and that's it. A super easy, super cute card. If you liked the video today, please go ahead and give this video a huge thumbs up for me. If it is the first time you're watching me, make sure it is not the last. Go ahead and click that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you are amongst the first to know when I release a new video. Thanks for watching.